My name is Nathalie Lozano Neira, and right now, currently I'm based in the coffee region of Colombia. Some of the community peace building work that I have been engaging in, I think some of it stems from years of my community involvement and volunteer involvement as a young person, and that has guided the path that I'm in today. So maybe I'll start there. When I first arrived to Canada, and I went there under a refugee assistance program, and I joined this leadership training for immigrant and refugee youth to work on our leadership skills and feel useful in our communities. And I think that made all the difference, because up to then, I felt what everybody was telling us, that refugees were just there to kind of take from the government and take resources and weren't giving anything back. And I felt useless, to be honest. And so joining that program where I was like, I do have skills and I am contributing things back. And it allowed me to kind of fight back, and then also recognize the racism and the other isms that come with being a woman of color, which I didn't realize I was until I first got to Canada. And then from then on, just starting to take the path of doing community work. So building facilitation skills, working with art-based approaches like theater, poster making, video making with other youth and our families in trying to deconstruct our experience as refugees. And then further on, when I was a little older, maybe 17, 18, starting to see the lack of connection with Indigenous communities. And then how dare we to ask for rights for ourselves without thinking of whose lands we were on and whose rights were being infringed over to our benefit. So that embarked us in a whole other journey of trying to understand where we were at, the land we were on, whose people's lands we were on, whose peoples had taken care of the land that gave us refuge. So then it made us kind of step away from thinking of Canada as the benevolent government, but more as we were a project. We were brought here to continue colonization and to continue dispossessing Indigenous people. And so how are we going to fight back and ensure that doesn't happen? And so that created all kinds of things within our collective of refugee youth. Some of us come from Indigenous backgrounds ourselves, but had never really even connected. And some of us were like, no, I don't want to learn about that. I don't agree with that. And so the collective kind of disbanded. But me, in my personal journey, I made it a point to study as much as I could, to expose myself as much as I could. And I ended up meeting this group of Indigenous dancers from Turtle Island who are survivors of sexual violence, whose family members have been killed or have been murdered. And I've been trying to support in whatever capacity I have, and my capacity happens to be grant writing and ensuring that funds are there to be able to support the group in what they're doing. They do their awareness through dance, hip hop, and traditional dancing, and so I've been able to accompany them to Colombia. We were able to organize a trip down here to Colombia for them to have conversations with other Indigenous and Afro-Colombian women around violence and it was really great because it took the conversation away from whiteness, from centering whiteness, into thinking, what do we need within our collectives to ensure that women's voices, women's lives are a priority? How do we work within our collectives to dismantle the patriarchy, colonialism? And so that has been such a beautiful journey. In 2017, they came here. And then in 2018, the groups from here, the Afro-Colombian women, the Indigenous women from the south and the butterflies in the north, we all came together in a gathering in Zapatista land. The Zapatistas did a gathering for, it was International Women's Gathering. And we met there and we learned from the Zapatistas and were able to like strengthen those links. And so I think, I mean, my work has like, I minimize it because it's like about interpreting back and forth and providing context where I can both ways about the situation in Colombia. Like a conversation that happened a lot at the beginning was like, why Afro-Colombian women? Like what we want is Indigenous women across. And so talking, like giving context about what had happened, I feel like I've found a place for me to be able to use the knowledge I've learned there, I've learned here, I've learned from my ancestors to facilitate those conversations and ensure the information is that people need is there for them to be able to have the more meaningful conversations.